Is it merely coincidence that the Nazca Plate lit up with dozens of quakes just days after a magnitude 7.4 temblor shook Kamchatka? Or is there a hidden link, a global tectonic domino effect playing out under our feet? In mid-September 2025, a powerful earthquake struck off the east coast of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. Within hours and days of that shock, seismic networks lit up across South America. Moderate quakes of magnitude 4.0 to 5.4 began rattling the entire length of the Nazca Plate subduction zone. This swarm stretched from northern Colombia and Ecuador, through Peru and Bolivia, down to Chile and Argentina. The scope of activity is striking. On September 14th, a magnitude 5.4 quake struck northern Colombia about 5 kilometers, 3 miles, north of Uramita at a depth of 50 kilometers, 31 miles. Hours earlier, a magnitude 4.8 hit the Pacific coast of Ecuador, roughly 51 kilometers, 32 miles, northwest of Salinas at a depth of 10 kilometers, 6 miles. Peru's Cordillera and Amazon basin were shaken by a magnitude 4.9, some 72 kilometers, 45 miles east of Tectonic at a depth of 10 kilometers, 6 miles, and by other mid-4 quakes. In Bolivia, a magnitude 4.6 quake occurred just 11 kilometers, 7 miles, southeast of Cleza at a depth of 10 kilometers, 6 miles, while deeper slab events rattled the high altiplano. For instance, a magnitude 4.3 at 61 kilometers, 38 miles, south of Chalapatta at a remarkable 259 kilometers, 161 miles depth. Northern Chile's Antofagasta and Tarapacá region saw a magnitude 4.5 quake 142 kilometers, 88 miles, from Iquique at 108 kilometers, 67 miles, depth, and a magnitude 4.0 quake 105 kilometers, 65 miles, from Calama at 136 kilometers, 84 miles depth. Strikingly, Argentina's Puna Plateau experienced a cluster of quakes near San Antonio de los Cobres over several days. Multiple events from magnitude 4.0 to 4.6, located roughly 55 to 88 kilometers, 34 to 54 miles, west of San Antonio de los Cobres, at depths from about 174 kilometers, 108 miles, up to about 188 kilometers, 117 miles. Even a magnitude 4.3 jolted the region northwest of Coquimbo, Chile, 70 kilometers, 43 miles offshore at 20 kilometers, 12 miles depth. Geographically, this is not a single aftershock zone, but a corridor of activity along the Nazca Plate subduction interface with South America. These events occurred on multiple faults, some in the downgoing slab at intermediate to great depths, and others on shallow thrust plains, spanning Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. Depths ranged widely. Several quakes were very deep, while others were shallow crustal shocks at 10 to 20 kilometers deep in Ecuador and Peru. Such widespread mid-4 to 5 activity is unusual for any single week, prompting careful scrutiny by seismologists. Could the Kamchatka earthquake really have triggered this southern unrest? In principle, yes. Large earthquakes launch seismic waves and even whole Earth oscillations that can transiently alter stresses on distant faults. There is precedent. The Nazca Plate's subduction zone off Peru is known to be highly susceptible to such remote triggering. Analyses of decades of quakes off Peru have shown that virtually all thrust earthquakes of magnitude 5.5 or greater there have a large earthquake within the previous few days. In that region, the chance of such clustering happening randomly has been estimated as very small. In other words, statistically, the Peruvian subduction zone appears primed. A single big quake sends stress waves that trigger many of its larger thrust events. Notably, smaller quakes dominated by normal faulting do not show the same triggering. The Nazca Plate along South America is a classic megathrust environment, descending beneath South America at roughly 7 to 8 centimeters per year, around 3 inches per year. The September Kamchatka quake occurred on another convergent margin far across the Pacific. Could energy from that magnitude 7.4 truly be felt beneath the Andes? It is conceivable via dynamic triggering. Global earthquake catalogues show that enormous quakes often precede about half of all magnitude 5 or greater events worldwide within a few days. Large events excite Earth's normal modes, and the passage of their surface waves can add or subtract tiny stresses on distant faults. If those faults are already on the brink, even minuscule stress changes or poor pressure pulses may push them over. The September Kamchatka quake generated significant long-period waves, so it plausibly pumped energy into Nazca Plate faults. That said, one must be cautious. The Nazca subduction zone is constantly active. It is among the world's most earthquake-prone regions. Dozens of magnitude 4 to 5 quakes are not unheard of in a given week. Statistically, even without any outside nudges, one expects some quakes to follow any large event somewhere. Thus, an uptick in moderate quakes after a major tremor can happen by chance in active regions. To be sure of triggering, one would need to compare this sequence to the normal background rate and remove routine aftershock sequences. So far, no one has claimed a definitive link specifically for this Kamchatka-Nazca sequence. Seismologists also note the variety of faulting here. Many triggering studies highlight thrust faults in subduction zones. In the Peruvian region, for instance, thrust earthquakes were strongly correlated with distant triggers, whereas normal fault events were not. In our case, the focal mechanisms are still being analysed, but the range of depths suggests a mix of thrust and deeper slab-normal quakes. Interestingly, many of the Nazca quakes after Kamchatka are intermediate-depth thrust earthquakes, exactly the type found to be most sensitive to remote shocks. This pattern strengthens the plausibility of a connection. What might the physical mechanism be? The 7.4 source quake shook the planet and likely excited standing seismic waves. According to theory and laboratory analogues, those free oscillations can transiently stretch or squeeze faults globally. Simulations of seismic wave propagation show that even remote waves can cause local stress changes of the order of tens of kilopascals on faults, enough to trigger failure if the fault was already critically stressed. It is not unlike lightly nudging a precariously balanced book. The timing in South America after the Russian quake is suggestive if the faults were indeed near threshold. Additionally, slow processes such as afterslip or viscoelastic relaxation could be influenced. Large quakes cause transient viscosity changes in the mantle that transmit stress perturbations on timescales of days. Despite these plausible mechanisms, caution and more data are needed. The available observations, the dozen-plus quakes listed, are a short catalogue. Some could easily be unrelated background seismicity. But the clustering in time and alignment along a known plate boundary raises eyebrows. If confirmed, it would echo past cases when very large quakes appear to spur activity far away. For now, seismologists are closely monitoring the region. Improved statistical tests, removing aftershocks and comparing to baseline rates, will help decide whether this is a true cascade of triggered quakes or a coincidental uptick. In the coming weeks, experts will watch for continuing aftershocks of these Nazca events and scan regional strain meters. If the anomaly fades, it may remain an intriguing pattern with no clear verdict. If, however, more quakes rattle nearby fault segments in synchrony with teleseismic waves or normal mode envelopes, the case for remote triggering will strengthen. Either way, the episode highlights how interconnected Earth's crust can be. A shock in far eastern Russia has put the Nazca Plate under pressure, at least temporarily, raising insightful questions about how far seismic influence truly travels. If global stress transfer is indeed at work, it underscores the point that tectonic hazards are not purely local. A big quake on one plate can subtly influence rupture on another halfway around the world. And as we continue to track and interpret this extraordinary burst of seismicity, your engagement helps these reports reach more people. If you found this deep dive valuable, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to tap that hype icon to push this video into a wider audience so more minds can join the conversation about our restless planet.